Everybody can hear you.
One person who told us. He's right. You'll start laughing when it's probably.
Well, that's why I thought at first when I looked at this and I was like, he's got pretty good sixes. I don't think he'd end up with five. So I just called the wrong number.
Were they glad to hear from you?
It was still ringing and I was like, I should probably just look at what I had. So I looked at it and I was like, oh, that is the
Steak shirt. Steak what? Steak black shirt. Like I don't know. I just want to buy from my phone. I just want to work on something. I have to get hold of not just woke up busy then.
Yeah, Bill's on the phone at least.
Oh, okay. I was like, my claims file is quite large now.
Bill would like you to read those all off to him and then he'll say sign.
Oh, okay. Did you know shopping means you get more stuff?
We got that, like the rocks in between the oh, is it the black first and
I know, I run that to the speaker.
Bill pounded that thing when you were here. I was surprised it didn't jump on it. I feel like there's a red thing. I wouldn't have expected any different. It's a very authoritative level.
I was using this as a coaster for a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow, I wish we had this meeting all the time. I would hear myself say that.
All right, welcome everybody. We've got a room full tonight. Nate, any additions to the agenda?
Mayor and council, no additions or changes.
Okay, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. On to opening items here. We have the mayoral proclamation for the Oriole girls basketball team, who is sitting here tonight, as well as coaches and family members and fans. And so I'm going to read this for you, but I'd just like to say congratulations on behalf of the city council, and we're proud of the girls basketball team this season. You really represented the city well and came home with a championship, so congratulations. But we wanted to honor you tonight here with this mayoral proclamation. So it says, whereas the 2026 Lennox Orioles girls basketball team ended the season with a record of 22 wins and 3 losses. And whereas the 2026 Lennox Orioles girls basketball team competed against the best teams in South Dakota at the 2026 state basketball tournament. And whereas the Lennox Orioles girls basketball team represented the entire Lennox community with their appreciation for teamwork, sportsmanship, and competition. And whereas the Lennox Orioles girls basketball team posted a dominating performance at the state basketball tournament, winning the 2026 Class A girls basketball championship. And whereas the Lennox Orioles girls basketball team is comprised of Coach Adam Quayle, Assistant Coach Paul McVeigh, Assistant Coach Craig Pearson, Tegan Sturm, Addie McVeigh, Libby Kranz, Izzy Vargas, Peyton Herlin, Bergen Musser, Allison Lowe, I think is how you say it. Lowy, sorry about that. Maya Hanish, Jayla Tapu, Katie Sherrard, Kenzie Bosma, Andy Peters, Carly Bosma, Corey Gertis, and Olivia Niederbauer. So congratulations. Now therefore be resolved that I, Danny Fergan, Mayor of Lennox, South Dakota, proclaim April 13th, 2026 Lennox Orioles Girls Basketball Day. And I encourage all residents to congratulate the Lennox Orioles girls basketball team for their outstanding season. Congratulations. All right, we're going to take a picture with the team and coaches, so come on. Are we going to have them squeeze up here? We'll try that. Come on up.
I'm not done yet. I just figured I'd.
Oh, I gotcha. That's what you call
We kind of say this is what happens when I show up. I'm too short.
All right, we got big paper ropes here. Who wants to hold the other side of the paper?
Katie does. Katie does.
Katie?
You got that.
You can hold the other side of the paper. It's pretty heavy.
I need a little bit more on this side here.
Find a window.
All right, let's start.
I think I got everybody. Oh, hold on. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Mary's got to get a picture.
I'll get a framed copy of this, so, and then you can hang it up wherever you want. So congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
What?
Congratulations.
Should be in the classroom.
Thanks. Adam, If you want to take a picture of that, you can, but then we'll frame it.
We'll have a frame one.
Thanks, Coach.
Oh.
No?
Thanks, Adam. Yep. You guys are
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to stay for the excitement?
It's a short agenda,
It is.
A lot. All right. On to next item here, we have visitors to be heard, so if there's someone would like to come up, come to the podium, state your name, and come and share. Okay, seeing that there's none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Nate, anything you want to draw attention to with this?
Mayor and Council, only one item tonight, item 3.5 is a grant for the Poet Community Fund. The library is submitting a grant application for that.
Okay. Council comments, questions, discussion.
I was happy to see that we're resubmitting for that. I know we did last year too, and the funding went elsewhere, so I'm glad that we're trying again.
I think the last time we received funding was for the playground in Westerman Park, so that's probably been 2-3 years now.
Any other discussion? Otherwise, I'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we'll do roll call this evening. Teasy?
Aye.
Sweer?
Aye.
Peterson?
Aye.
Vandrill?
Aye.
Doherty?
Aye.
All right, motion carries for consent agenda. On to new business, 4.1, we have ordinance 669, peddler's permit.
Mayor and Council, you'll recall some discussion earlier this year on Chapter 4 as it relates to peddler's permit licensing. What we're trying to do here is exempt food trucks from the existing regulations for a peddler's permit. I do think there was some room in there to do this, but I think it's easier if we can make it perfectly clear that these are specifically exempted. And so that's what this ordinance does. Cleans up that language and allows us to exempt those specific food trucks. Keep in mind that this does not allow them to just set up on any city street though. The city's oversized vehicle parking permits would still apply there. That being said, you know, our goal if we do come across somebody that's operating on a city street is not to disturb their business, but to educate them so that in the future they can be placed on private property. Outside of that, there's a few things that we're cleaning up here. There are 2 things that we asked for on the application that really aren't relevant to what we have to do for a peddler's permit. That's the last 5 cities or towns where the applicant has worked before coming here, as well as the date of birth and social security number. You know, we're getting their tax ID. We've got all of that information, so that's not relevant. And these are generally publicly discoverable documents, and I don't think having those numbers on there is something we want to collect. I would recommend a motion to approve first reading.
So move. Okay.
I just wanted to ask, I know there was some discussion previously about, like the vendors in the park, and you know, they're already paying a booth fee to whoever the organizer for those events are. Under this revised ordinance, it reads to me like we would still be requiring them to get a peddler's permit, is that correct?
We will not.
Okay,
If the commercial club requires it as part of their events, that's one thing, but we won't require it on our end.
okay. I'm not sure that it was super clear to me when I was reading the ordinance that that's the case. I know like with the food truck specifically, it said if not covered under special events permit, but as far as like other vendors, I'm not, and that I could just be interpreting that wrong, so I'd like to hear what other people, how they interpreted that, but.
Yeah, so with regard to the special event permit, you think?
Well, I just think, again, kind of going back to the 4th of July in the park or the park drive after 5, any vendors that are setting up like to sell, say, the Nest or any of those people, like, are they required to
They
get
would
a
still
peddler?
need one.
Okay, okay,
Yep, so nothing is changing for them, it's just the food trucks.
okay. And we're okay with that, like, okay.
Now would be the time. What about if you want to say it a little different?
Again, being as I used to be a vendor like that, I always felt like as an outside vendor coming in, you don't always know that.
Mhm.
And of course, the coordinators of the event would tell you generally if there is a requirement, they should know. But I think it's a little bit discouraging to a small business if they have to come in and pay our peddler's fee plus a booth fee at the event.
Sure.
But if we're not concerned about that, maybe we, pass as is and then monitor it. See if we get any feedback from our partners.
Yeah, that's, when it comes to the other vendors, just making sure they fit the definition of a peddler. And it includes any person transacting a temporary business within the city, so they may not be going from place to place, which is what we typically think of as a peddler, but they are transacting temporary business, and so that's what those would fall under. I mean, if that's the direction the council wishes to go, for those that do have, to encourage those special events, and encourage people to be at those, to me, it wouldn't be any big issue for us to waive the fee if there's a fee to the organization that's hosting it, like Commercial Club, it's still coming back to help the community. But that's something we should probably memorialize somehow.
Yeah, and that was gonna be my question. Like I said, I know we had kind of discussed it briefly before. So I just wanted to raise that question because I do think that it may help people wanna set up shop more for those events.
Well,
And they always get sales tax forms, generally,
Even if they're
anytime I've ever
temporary.
gone, anytime I've ever gone to a vendor show, they hand out that sales tax form so that you have to, report after the event.
What if, this is a fairly simple approach to it, but if we were to update the fee resolution for peddler's permit specifically, so that it says just, if it's being hosted by a commercial club or something else, then the fee is waived or something along those lines.
that'd probably be more appropriate.
What do they normally charge to have a booth there?
It depends, like, I used to go to one in Pickstown all the time, and that one was $30 if you didn't need power. If you needed power, they'd charge you more, or if you did, it depended on booth size, so it depends on the event, but it's generally anywhere between $30 to $50 to rent a booth at any of those
And
types
is
of
our
events.
peddler license, or permit for each individual event, or does that run
I
for
think
the
it's
whole
good
year?
for a year.
One, it's very.
So,
So that helps some.
And I think
that-
commercial club is 25 and ours is 25.
okay.
So, if somebody's doing, and I assume that they do this for Park Drive after 5, I don't know for sure. But for the 4th of July events, they're coming here and getting a peddler's permit, and they're paying a participatory fee of some sort to commercial club for 20, I think it's 25.
Yeah.
So it's really not huge, but
But for a small business or a small vendor that's doing this 8 weekends out of the year,
or less, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I have no preference on if they're exempt from this or not. So,
What if we made it so I guess, how would you, I was thinking like they pay the difference, so they still pay $50 total, but if they're going to multiple events throughout the year, how would, they could just say I'm gonna be in all 5 park after 5s, and so they pay 0, but, I mean, this isn't intended to be a money maker for us.
no, not at all.
So it's,
It's really just a safekeeping.
Right.
When I look at how peddler's permits originated, it was to protect property owners from solicitation.
yep.
And if that's where you would like to keep it, I would take the transacting temporary business clause outside of this ordinance. And just leave it, you just leave it for the folks that are going door to door.
Yeah.
I was to say either that or if there's some way to work in there, if they're working under a special events permit, because I think you have that same verbiage, I'm just now pulling it up, sorry. And I don't
It's on the
have my
parking,
glasses.
yeah.
Yeah, with the food truck, you reference, if they're working under a previously approved special events permit, which our Park Drive after 5 and our 4th of July thing would be that.
I'm just trying to think of the devil's advocate side of this, and I agree with you, I think there's a path there, but if there's like a bad actor who we continuously said, yeah, you're not welcome here, and I don't have any examples of that, but if that would happen, but then under the guise of like, commercial clubs allows them in, but we don't necessarily want them in. We want some sort of
Yeah.
recourse to prevent something from that happening.
I mean, I think our relationship and communication with the commercial club around these
Yeah.
events is pretty solid.
I agree.
Maybe it won't always be that way, and that would control against that.
Yeah, that's one of the things I had down was kind of transient merchants,
Mhm.
and just the volume and flow of what that could possibly allow. And if we wanted to, per se, if that was the case, do we want to create a higher fee for that and make sure that they have a surety bond? You know, is that really necessary at this point? Probably not, but maybe to have it in place if it becomes that. It's hard to put a restriction on that volume.
I like the idea of making it less of a bottleneck, or less of a obstacle to get more vendors there, because I think that's what we want.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to ask any of us in the office if it matters to us who's set up in the park to sell stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're on a registry somewhere, it really doesn't matter to
Yeah.
us. You know, and if they're on a registry, they're already violating the law by being there.
I mean,
So, you know, outside of that, it really, we have no concern for what's happening down there. Our relationship with the commercial club has been so good that I just don't have any concerns about who they're inviting to participate. So.
One last thing that I kind of wanted to bring up is that, under unlawful conduct 4.0204 on number 6, it says, upon the request of any person to display their license.
Mhm.
Kind of feel like we should just have them display it. I feel like it would be rude to ask, or to assume.
The mayor may have beat you to the punch on that one.
Oh.
So last week Danny had asked if it would be possible to do a lanyard type badge.
Yeah.
So Jess is working on that right now.
Okay.
They'll have name of business, peddler permit, I think permit number, for example, will be on there. They'll be wearing that as they go door to door, so.
Yeah.
Because there are other, I mean, right now it's just an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper
Yeah.
laminated.
And you got sometimes multiple
Yeah.
people.
I didn't
You
know,
know,
like,
like-
for, like, the food trucks too, if they just have, like, a place where they just,
They put it next to their department belt stuff usually.
yeah, sometimes.
I like the idea,
Not always,
because
that's
now
why I'm like,
everyone checks the Lennox, City of Lennox Facebook page to see that so-and-so stopped in and got their peddler's
Right.
permit, you know, and so,
right,
but if they have something like a lanyard or they show when they knock on the door, I mean, that's just, I think that,
You know, it's legit.
yeah.
Even I've had it where, you know, I'll have somebody come to the door at our house and leave a door hanger. I'm like, did I sign a permit for that?
Sure, yeah.
And how long ago?
Yeah.
So I'm seeing, is there a consensus here to look at more exemptions?
I'm willing to discuss that, or.
yeah,
yes,
I kind of like, let's maybe discuss this, but your direction of making it more about door to door versus
events.
the, yeah,
Yeah,
the temporary business. You know. Now, by doing that though, are we kind of going backwards on the provisions we put in place for the food trucks, because they would technically be a temporary business?
not only that, but I think it's already,
I think it's redundant to exempt them twice. They'd be exempt under 2 clauses essentially.
Okay,
The other thing I'm noticing here, we do have the fee listed in the ordinance, and we've typically gone away from that, so that we don't have to do 2 readings every time we change a fee. So we'll pull that out as well.
okay. Do we need Bill to retract
Yeah.
this and then, or just?
Bill, did you still want to carry your
I'll
motion?
rescind my motion.
Okay,
Recommend motion table.
all right, there's, if he's pulling his motion out, if we don't have a motion, then it
I'll
just
make a
goes
motion to the table.
to table, okay. So Chad, to table in a second?
I'll second it, yep. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion to table ordinance, this agenda item 4.1 of ordinance 669 peddlers permit. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion's tabled. So we'll pull that up again at our next meeting. 4.2, utility shut-off policy and procedure. Kyle? Kyle, come on up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The purpose for this utility, formal process, is just because we didn't have anything written and we had a lot of inconsistencies of how shut-offs were handled, notices, reconnections, how payments were issued. And there was some communication errors between, utility billing staff, finance, and myself. So I just kind of wanted to put something out there, a process to kind of clean up this how the delinquent accounts are handled. So the purpose of this is to create a consistent and fair process for all residents. It improves compliance with the city ordinances, clearly defines timelines, responsibilities, and enforcement procedures, provides guidance for difficult situations where we can't shut off waters to dwellings such as trailer homes or multi-dwelling buildings. And also protect the city from liability and reduce confusion for staff and residents. So yes, this procedure would formally establish, how billing and shut-off timelines are. Currently, in the packet, we came up with, bills are due on the 5th of each month. A late fee would apply after the 5th. A disconnect notice would go out on the 10th. And then a shut-off would follow that on the last Monday of that month.
So that essentially gives 3 weeks for payments to be made before shut off.
Correct.
How come, or explain how you can't shut water off in multi-family units, because it would shut everybody off?
Correct.
And so what about trailer homes?
That's a different situation where some of them didn't have individual shut-off, besides one that may be underneath the skirting of the trailer.
Okay, so you have to climb under there.
Right, we would have to get access, and typically, how we handle it now is the property owner could do that, but that could be as simple as someone else turning that valve back on. So there's really no way to verify that valve stays off until payment is collected.
Okay.
We have the authority to demand that they put in individual curb stops.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've used that authority on any of the trailer parks to this point. I know Ron and Joni, prior to when they had sold, had done 3 or 4, maybe a few more, and fixed a few of those, which helps a lot. But it's not ideal.
Yep. So some changes that, not really changes, but just kind of some notes I want to point out. The shut-off schedule would happen on that 4th Monday of the month, unless the total balance is paid, so that includes all late fees. And a late fee is applied after that 5th calendar month, if no payment is collected. And that's the $50 fee. If you're disconnected, currently as our policy states, there's a $25 disconnection fee and a $25 reconnection fee. So I'm trying to change in that language for billing simplicity to make it just a flat 50. So it's not, no amount is changing, it's going to be the same as it was previously. It's just for billing purposes, it's just $50. Sure. And then one cliff note here I want to point out, the fees are not a revenue generator. I mean, I think Tyson looked it up, we're collecting maybe under $3,000 a year in late fees. It's more to promote consistent on-time payments from residents. It's not a revenue builder. Also on the policy would be a payment plan for hardships and medical hardships. We do currently have that in the ordinance. I think we just need to develop a more formal form for that. And then also on here is the restricted payment methods for customers that have consistent checks, bounds, or issues with payment. That creates a lot of confusion with utility billing staff. And then also on here is the possibility for remote shut-off capable devices. These wouldn't be put in every dwelling. This would be more for your multi-family or multi-housing or multi-dwelling where they only have one curb stop to shut off. And, you know, the neighbor may not be paying their bill, but their neighbor is. And we don't want to shut off both of them. But with this device, we're able to shut off one individually. It's a simple meter installation, and they're the same lay length. They would retrofit into any current meter setup in town. So it's just an option that's out there, and I just want us to, if we're willing to adapt that, we can. Otherwise, we would have to be in contact with the property owner, and either they give us access or they have to shut it off inside the building somewhere. So if you guys had a chance to review it, I can answer any questions, or if you have any recommendations.
Those meters that also shut off, what's the cost of those?
About $700.
How does that compare to an existing meter?
$408 is what we're paying currently.
And currently we buy those, right, the
Yes.
meters? But you're saying you'd want the property owner to buy the shut off ones, or would we?
I think that's dependent, situational dependent.
Okay.
A delinquent customer that's, consistently delinquent, but that's also for you guys.
Is that,
Yeah, I don't think we would use this on volume of cases.
Right.
And by very, very sparingly used, simply because of the cost involved of the actual meter. But if we're constantly getting back payments, constantly having to do shut-offs, whatever it might be, it would probably be cheaper for us to just do the remote. So that we're not sending staff out there every month, spending an hour on it as administrative staff here on the building. I mean,
I think whichever way we do it, we would want to have ownership of it, because like for maintenance and
100%.
repair and everything, like I think we would want to control that.
Yeah, I've reached out to other municipalities, Harrisburg, and they have, apartment buildings, where they can't have 12 different curb stops, right?
Right.
So they have one for the whole building, but they also have a key for utility room access. So they can get in there that's locked, and they can shut off individual services that are metered. Each dwelling is metered, but they can shut it off that way. A good example would be probably for the new development.
Yes.
that's probably more common in newer ones?
Yep. But for the existing structures that we don't have access, the remote shut-off meter is the solution.
Sure.
How do we let people know if they get delinquent? Maybe it's on the notice if it's a hardship type situation, is that on the notice that they get?
I don't think it is currently, but I believe in the procedure, we want to put it on there.
Sure.
How do we define hardship?
Is that something they come in and apply for, or?
yeah, we don't have a strict definition.
Case by case, kind of?
I think the only thing in our current policy is just medical.
Okay.
And we just allow, I think it says 60 days, like a payment over 60 days, or what's?
That's what we're trying to clear up is what defines the hardship,
30 days.
how much we need to collect if.
And how quickly?
I believe it was a third of the bill is what I proposed.
Was that based off any other examples, or that was just a number you thought was appropriate?
Yeah.
And then a written agreement to pay the remainder.
Correct.
Okay.
Within 30 days, I believe.
It says 60.
60
Now, the medical hardship would continue service for a 30-day period with certification. I'm reading this, that the finance officer is able to use their discretion to approve a written pay agreement. And this is all still under review by the city attorney as well. So there's a few things that he's looking at, that Brett's been looking into. But having this in front of you tonight, I think is a really good starting point to further refine this.
Yeah.
It's certainly a formal.
So today we just, how are we acting today, I guess? I don't know completely.
Well, let's see, did bills just go out today, or notices go out today?
Notices will go out tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Late fee notices?
delinquent, yeah.
Yes.
In terms of payment plans, we do have residents that are on payment plans. It's simply recorded in the notes on their account. Here's the discussion we had, they're making regular payments or not making regular payments, and every contact is recorded in there, so.
So if we were to move forward with implementing this, anyone who has that in place would just remain in place?
Yeah, we wouldn't require them to apply, we would simply, we may formalize it and say, here's what we're putting in place, but I don't see any reason to
How does that
change it.
work with like, are they just perpetually on a payment plan, like, cause you're gonna have another bill due next month and another bill due next month?
Some have been on for quite some time, yes. As long as they're making payments that are consistent with that payment plan,
Like, are we allowing them to lose ground on their debt, or are we like,
yes. Well, like a step like late fees and stuff like that.
like if you're on a payment plan, let's say you have a hardship and we're giving you 60 days or whatever we're giving them now to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're gonna have another bill due in 30 days.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Are they ever gonna catch up?
are they catching up, or are we just letting them carry that debt in perpetuity?
I think there are, I think it's situational. I know there are several that are only on a payment plan for a few months.
Yeah.
There are others that have perpetual hardships. And, we work with Interlake's Community Action Agency with those kinds of bills to try and get those down to a reasonable balance as well, so. There are other resources outside of this that we can access for that.
I'm just wondering if this payment plan, like that Kyle laid out, like you have to agree to pay the remainder within 60 days. So is that like the current remainder,
Right,
or
yeah.
you have to be current within 60 days?
Failure to comply would grounds for shut off if payments not received within 60 days. That's what.
But within that 60 days, your debt is gonna go up. or your
Correct.
balance.
From the next following month, yeah.
So maybe it'd be clear to say like you must be current within 60 days, or whatever time frame we feel is fair and appropriate, but might just,
You mean like current to date?
yeah, so you're, I don't know. like-
Current or within
Current.
What's
an
that?
Current
arrangement?
delinquent.
Well, like so you could interpret this as saying like, well, I owed $500 60 days ago, I paid my $500, but since then I've racked up an
Another
additional,
200.
another 200, yeah.
Is it all past due balances are paid or made current?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like my account is current, like I'm not delinquent.
I think the only thing that the city attorney also wanted to verify is, I put in here for cold, extreme cold policy, where we wouldn't shut off anything if the high would be over, or under -10 degrees Fahrenheit. I know quite a few folks in town that rely on, trickling water in some cases to prevent freezing or damage caused, so
Yeah.
I think that should be something that we put in there.
Sure.
And that would be for that period, like, you have to look at the forecast going forward. If it's gonna be.
Right.
Yeah, not just for that
Yeah,
day.
Right.
not just
Or
for
if
that
it would
day.
fall to the next billing cycle, or however we
Yeah.
want to kind of.
Right.
Since we're talking about shut-off process, I know that with the reconnection process, you had put in there that it's separate, 25 for the shut-off, 25 for the turn-on, so we're just kind of making it 50 for reconnection, which makes sense. Do we need to say that it's 25 if they are terminating services, or is that in another spot?
That's a good point, because
And
I
then
guess,
not only that, but then are we wanting to put in there, sorry to cut you off, about deposits?
Is there a circumstance under which somebody would terminate and not turn back on?
I mean, if they move,
but that property
Wouldn't-
would still.
I don't think we're charging a disconnect at that point though, or a move out, move in.
does it just change service?
No, we're not, yeah.
That's just change of service.
What if the house was vacant for a while?
Some properties were abandoned on North Main there, They still have a water stub out,
Right.
but the valve is shut off at the street for
Okay.
that property. And I don't believe we charged any amount to do that. It would just,
If it did, it was with a demolition fee.
right,
You know, a property like that where the property is abandoned or demolished and just a vacant lot with a stub out still there, the assumption is that it will be turned back on again someday. I can't think of any that would just terminate and not exist anymore.
the fees are not, or the deposit fees are not in this.
I figured they weren't, but I wasn't sure if we should also have it in here or not.
I think the fee would just be for like delinquency sort of thing. We have a couple like snowbirds who just request to turn their water off when they go to like Arizona or something, and we just turn it off for them as a courtesy, and then just they give us a call when they come back and just turn it back on for them. So they're not racking up like, I think the minimum's like $42 if you don't use any water in a month.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, I think it's only for delinquencies when the late fee would actually apply.
Okay.
If you shut it off, is there still a $42 fee?
If you shut it off, no.
Ron?
For something along the lines. Do we, yeah, we have some just direction, I guess, and we gotta clean this up, so. We wanna bring this back at the next meeting then, and we'll just table this as well?
Yeah, it'll be either next meeting or meeting after. I want to hear from Brett, obviously.
Yeah.
We got some revisions to work on, so. Yeah, table will be fine.
Okay, I'll look for a motion to table.
I'll motion to table.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you, Kyle. Now I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion is second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're adjourned.
Tyson, I have a question.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Bill.
Where are we? I don't know what I'm looking at.
I believe so, let me double check that here on mine.
This is where I get really confused. What's this?